This is the New York City property report. At the top of the report, if the property has a lien or a list pendant on it, you'll get this alert in orange that indicates that this property has a lien or a list pendant on it, and as well as how many. In the top left is the photograph. To the right of the photograph is the address of the property, the legal identification, which in New York City is the block, lot, and easement, the owner of the property. We also have telephone numbers listed at the address, listed in the owner's name, and the owner's address. Below all this, we have the rest of the property report, including the building information, which includes the classification, number of buildings on the lot, number of units, residential units, year built, and other details. The lot and building size, including the lot dimensions, the building dimensions, and the height. Now, GeoData has two square footages for the building. The first square footage is the calculated square feet, and that is the product of the building dimensions multiplied by the height. The next square footage is what we call the New York City square footage, and that's the square footage that the city reports the property to be. Neither square footage is always correct, which is why we include both. Next, we have the land area, the square foot of the lot, followed by the floor area ratio, the FAR. The FAR is the ratio of the square footage of the building, the New York City square footage, against the square footage of the lot. In this case, the FAR is 0.8, which means that 80% of the lot is encompassed by the building. Now, the FAR is regulated by the zoning. In this case, the property is a low-density residential zone, R3-1, and the maximum FAR for this area is 0.5. You'll see again that the actual FAR for this property is 0.8, so it actually happens to be above the regulated FAR. This is a good tool for appraisers in determining highest and best use, as well as developers and builders who are trying to determine how large of a property they can build. In the next column, we have parcel information, including tax class, corner, lot shape, and census tract, flood zone, and we have the tax history of the property from 1990 to present year. Next, we have the sales history on the property. You'll notice that some of the sales happen to be highlighted in yellow. This is an indication of a potential flip. GeoData defines a potential flip as any property that has been sold more than once within a one-year period. There has not necessarily been fraudulent activity on this property. However, we're bringing the high frequency of activity to your attention by highlighting these sales in yellow. Below the sales history, there's whatever active liens that are on the property. So you see there's a list pendant filed in this property by City Mortgage against the defendant. Below this, we have GeoData's contact information, as well as the user's name in the bottom right. Up at the top, you have additional options. You can go back to the previous page. You can print out the report. You can do a CMA, which is how we find comps. Liens shows any liens that have ever been filed in the property since the mid-1980s. Map allows us to view the property on a map. Census shows us demographics in the neighborhood. We can also do a new search and sign out of GeoData Direct. On the line below that, we have links to external websites that aren't part of GeoData. Building Department links you to the New York City Department of Buildings, which will show you any violations on the property, as well as any certificates of occupancy. And we also have two links to two different mapping sites in New York City, nyc.gov and Oasis Maps.